And hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Trevor Quickshot Henry, commandeering the castle desk with my brothers-in-arms, Joshua, Jat, Leesman, as well as Jake, Spawn, Tiberi. Gentlemen, it's been a fun start to the day. It's not been great for me in Europe, but we get to look forward now, another wildcard region in China.
You're not alone. My region still has not picked up a victory as well, Quickshot. However, we haven't played a game. You are 0-2 on the day.
I mean, I'm just glad to be on the caster desk. We've been waiting. It feels the 3 games felt like they took forever because we knew we were going to be able to come and cast, so I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, very excited indeed. We are commandeering the desk for the second half of the day. It will feature INTZ Esports taking on Edward Gaming. Let's start with EDG. They, of course, hail from China's LPL. They had a dominating 16-0.
Welcome to Game 4 of today's Player Experience. I'm Richard Cam. I'm still here with Rusty now and our special guest analyst Inori. And we're here to focus in on the jungle role as we follow INTZ's Revolta and EDG's Clearlove. How are you guys doing today?
Great to be here. Of course, great to have Inori back with us, but highlighting EDG in particular, I'm very excited to see them perform and hopefully all of the LPL performing on Worlds.
Inori, yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Kind of disappointed it was my Peanut versus the other jungler guy. Sorry, I forgot his name, but it was kind of disappointing, but I'm hoping for a better showing this one.
At least PvP Stayos was playing true to his name.
Yeah,
right?
it was
at least
PvP.
exciting to watch.
Moving away from PvE Stayhost, I saw in the International Wildcards last time I saw him. But coming into this matchup, how do you guys generally feel about this one? I mean, like, Revolta, his idol is Clearlove coming into this matchup, and I feel like he's going to be on the receiving end of a lot of kills this game.
I think the stats are one of the biggest misleading things here because we know it feels a little bit similar to the first jungle highlight matchup that we saw between Rox Tigers and Albus Nox Luna. The stats actually look quite good for Revolta, a higher KDA, decent kill participation, lots of damage, and his kill share's high. But that's so misleading because EDG's Clearlove is in the LPL.
Very, very true. Where do you guys actually rate Clearlove in comparison to all of the junglers at Worlds, if you had to rank him?
Clearlove's definitely one of the best junglers here. He's like a contender for like first or second. Like, he's just such a like unique jungler. He plays carry, he plays whatever like it's best. Like, he's so adaptable. He's been around so long, so strong. He's definitely probably my favorite. I remember back when I was smurfing trying to get like super high yellow, I just name changed to something Clearlove because I was such a fanboy of him. So yeah, he's definitely like one of my favorite junglers, and I like him a lot.
I think a lot of the people here, even at Worlds, Revolt is the best example of this, are actually fans of Clearlove in particular as an extremely experienced person, and so it's really good to see that he is now coming into form, coming into Worlds here.
Do you think he'll adapt a particular strategy? Because so many people must analyze Clearlove's play, know how he paths, and there's going to be stuff that he's hidden coming into this tournament, but do you think he'll have like a specific strategy in mind? It's just like, I know he starts here every single game, so I'm going to try and choose him.
I know that those who watch Solo Queue, I don't know if you saw his account in particular, but he's got a lot of Rek'Sai games there, and the only reason I bring this up is because he's not revealing strategies in Solo Queue, because every single Rek'Sai game has a BF sword or a Duskblade of Drakthar in there, and he's still managing to win those games. So I don't think there's anything crazy that we have seen, but there definitely might be something in his repertoire.
Yeah, I think he's probably not going to show much because this is one of the easier teams in the lead bracket. I think, if anything, he'll probably just play at least with Rek'Sai, whichever one's up. If not, maybe just swing to Graves. I'm hoping for a Kha'Zix game, something more carry-centric, but we'll probably see a meta pick.
Yeah, and EDG have played the Kha'Zix as well, so it's potentially likely that we'll see it there. Of course, a lot of neutral objective control is one of the big reasons you do see Kha'Zix in particular, where, I mean, against a team like INTZ, they like to play macro, they like to look for these big objectives. It could be a possibility he plays something like that and just tries to out-rotate them and outpace them throughout. I don't think we'll see it just yet. He might go stock standard and get that Elise and Graves that you mentioned.
And if you do have a jungle-related question you'd like us to tackle, send it in to @LOLesports on Twitter with the hashtag @thecasters, and we will answer it during the game like we did with the last ones. And following on from that kind of topic we were just talking about, do you think they'll reveal anything in terms of like in-game as well, in terms of jungle pathing, in the early game? Because when we saw Rox earlier, they definitely didn't like reveal anything at all. Inori?
I don't think there's much to reveal about strategy-wise. You just kind of go into the game with the feel of like what your comp does and what their comp does. So you just kind of play the map and see how it goes. If anything, they're not going to reveal any team-based strategies, so hopefully they'll keep that to themselves and not let any other teams watching know what they're going to do and just kind of play off instinct in general. Like, map awareness.
Yeah, similar to what Rox did, I think, in that last game. Yeah, there was a lot of kills and maybe some blunders early game, but they were just playing to what their champions wanted to do. Play the map, see what happens, and then when it really came to mid-game, just put some team play in there and try and outshine their opponents. I think EDG will probably do the exact same thing here. There shouldn't be a crazy strategy, but if there is, I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun with it.
Likely that we'll see a more slower-paced early game or more kills, because talking about like Brazil as just like a region, they are known to be like the quote-unquote Korea, more macro strategy overall. Will we have a slower early game, or is it just going to be balls to the wall?
I mean, there might be a slower early game when you look at INTZ, but there's a chance they try and really give it to their opponents. And Revolta's going to be super hungry to get a kill from Clearlove, so he may decide on a whim that invading's actually a better decision. So it's a possibility that we see that. And Clearlove, also no stranger to being aggressive and invading, might actually just try and give it to Revolta instead. Maybe.
Clearly respecting the Duskblade Rek'Sai that's been coming out in solo queue from Clearlove, as that has been banned away. Jason Rumble, as we've been seeing his picks coming out here. Nidalee and Elise banned out from EDG. What do you make of this? Inori, you want to go first?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of jungle bans going on. I like it. I want to see more off-meta picks. I think banning these two junglers shows a lot of respect they have for Revolta, knowing he can do a lot of work for that team on these like comfort picks. So they're trying to put him on a more of like a non-meta jungler and see how he goes with that.
Yeah, there's been 3 blue side Elise picks. There hasn't actually been a red side showing of it yet, so I do like that EDG have gotten rid of it on the red side. It means that they're going to have to pick something else in their first rotation, and it can't be that. And as you mentioned, we might get something crazy because those are the 3 big junglers now pretty much taken off.
So what's in the pool now? You were talking about Kha'Zix being there. We know Evelynn is also a possibility for Clearlove, and maybe even Revolta as well.
I would probably assume like Graves or Kha'Zix would be his go-tos. Like, he'd probably save Kha'Zix for a counter pick, like if he saw something easy, or even Evelynn too, something he can pretty much abuse. Like, not a good awareness team was like Evelynn.
And I mean, Clearlove is the Evelynn player. We saw it last time they won at MSI. I mean, this guy can play a lot of champions. I don't think we've seen him playing any Olaf or anything of those type of capabilities. I expect, honestly, the Evelynn, as you mentioned.
Are any of those champions likely to be early rotation, or do you really want to wait until you see what comes out from the opponent first? Does it matter?
You normally want to save it later. The problem with those picks are like, they're kind of like, you don't want them to draft a comp that kind of like puts it in like a bad position. You kind of want to wait like 3rd or 4th, 5th pick kind of thing. So you don't want to pick it like this rotation. You wait next one, and it'll be good to go.
You don't want to lock in Kha'Zix and it's like, oh, full tank lineup.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unless they go for something like the Graves, I wouldn't expect a jungle to be rotated early. Especially knowing EDG. They like to pick their junglers early if it's a tank or something that is really obvious and doesn't have a counterplay to it. But a carry would be late drafted.
So a potential tell that maybe late into the draft we get something more carry orientated from Clearlove. Syndra again coming out, hovering the Sejuani.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Sejuani isn't a very good jungler right now. There's too many ways to avoid her CC. It's not reliable. QSS is really good in the game right now. Yeah, there's much better picks than Sejuani. If you want to go for a CC jungler, I'd recommend Zac. I would prefer if you went over Zac, something like that.
There was talk of Zac maybe entering the tournament at some point. Do you think he's like high in the list, or is he just very much in that secondary pool we've been talking about?
I think he's higher, but I think he's more of like an NA representative. Like, I don't see other teams picking him up as much, but on NA they're really in love with him, mostly Meteos.
Yeah.
I do think he should be higher prioritized, and I think we'll see a bit more like maybe during like the NA days if they showcase a good performance, we'll see it picked up. That's what I like about Worlds. It's kind of like it gets adapted throughout like the sets. Like at first we see something, and then like one team brings out this new champion, and everyone's like, wait, oh, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
And they start playing off that, and like you never know. Like the first few days, it's kind of like iffy about what's meta. So we'll see what's good later on.
I mean, everyone has like 3 weeks of discovery, and they're preparing just for themselves, and they get in the tournament, and everything changes entirely because they've lost once to something that they had no idea was good. I mean, NA as an example, they do play a lot of the Olaf, they play a lot of Zac, and maybe EDG or another team loses to those champions and decide, why am I losing? This looks good, let's play it. And they join in themselves.
Still waiting for that Kled lock-in, man. He'll come in eventually. Locking in the Vladimir. Thinking about the potential jungle pick as well. Now we'll be locked in. So, Graves into the jungle for Clearlove.
Yeah, definitely Graves is like the power pick you want to go for. It's like reliable, has not that good, like it doesn't have bad matchups. You can do a lot of work with it. So I kind of saw this pick coming through, and it's a good pick for him. He can still go off with it. There's a lot of kind of like good things you can do with Graves. You can power farm, you can scale really hard, 1v5 the enemy team too, and there's a lot of things Clearlove can pull out.
So is it an optimal pick here from Revolta now that he's seen the Graves pickup?
You can't really go for a Graves counter because he kind of like...
It's Graves?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Graves. You kind of want to pick something to like deal with enemy comps, so I see like a heavy backline, peel kite, and then I have a like unkillable Vlad on enemy team, so maybe like what do we want? Do we want to engage? Like we gotta think like what does our team comp do right now? We have Braum, Ashe, Syndra, we have so much CC engage.
So you have a lot of engage,
We
yeah.
have Gnar, like do we need magic damage? Like we have Syndra, like do we want like early game pressure? They're just gonna keep pitching these ideas and see what they want to. It'll come down to Revolta and what he wants.
He's going deep.
He wants Lee Sin because he wants to show Clearlove his guy. So,
Yeah, it's literally
Please
it.
notice me.
yeah.
Well, very cool. So I guess it's just all going to be in on the early game then for INTZ revolving around the Lee Sin pick.
Yeah, but I mean, as you said before, Honori, they've got engage from the Ashe, from the Braum. They have a lot of follow-up engage, and potentially even more so from the Syndra. Mega Gnar can get in and lock everybody down. So Revolta's purpose in the team composition isn't that important late game. He just really can make an impact early, try and get the map going in their favor, and then hope that the rest of the team is snowballed well enough, and then he can play the peel role for what would be the Ashe once it hits late game, or the Syndra once it hits late game. So a very defined purpose, I'd say, from Revolta.
Waiting for that final pick from EDG, but just from the composition so far, oh no, it's going to be locked in Irelia as well to the top lane. What is Clearlove looking to do now that he's seen the Lee Sin locked in?
I mean, I don't think it's a bad matchup for Graves. I'm pretty confident if I was the Graves into Lee, I'd be like, okay, like he can't really kill me much. Like Lee Sin is more of like a, you know, he can punish squishies a lot more than he can punish any tanks. And Graves is a weird champion because he's like an ADC, but he's also a tank ADC, so it's kind of like misleading. I'm kind of worried for Revolta. He looks confident, so I'm happy about that, but I'm really worried how this matchup's gonna go because I don't think it's gonna be that great for him. And he's also playing against EDG. It's like one of the best teams here. So there's a lot of pressure on him. I hope he does well, though. I like the guy. He looks like a cool guy. And hopefully he does well against his idol.
I think it's a little bit similar to that of like an Elise watching how Revolta has to play out this Elise, and he does need to have that early presence. And the scariest thing is he can't do that in Clearlove's jungle, because Graves, in my opinion anyway, is like, if you go at him, you're most likely going to start losing the trades, because you're not only next to him where he does more damage, the Q's easier to hit, and when he's level 6, he can just pop the ulti and space himself perfectly.
Yeah, that's just Graves things.
Yeah, you just walk into the jungle and die. So it's just going to be around like just trying to gank those lanes early. Like, will he go for like a fast path and insta try and get into those ganks? Like, how do you think he's going to start off this game?
Revolta?
Yeah, Revolta with Lee Sin.
I think he has to, so I might expect to see a couple of jungle camps potentially missed from Revolta. He may look for an earlier gank, but he has to pick the lane that he's looking towards. And I mean, I'd say Syndra's actually a decent one to gank for because the stun's easy to hit, but then you have to remember that he's against a Vladimir, so easier said than done, but the pressure is still on Revolta because Clearlove can just hard farm and scale.
Small window. Crowd's getting behind the teams though, and we'll be heading into the jungle. So you're talking about mid lane gank. Where do you expect him to like start and then trend towards? You think top side, bot side?
Oh, probably start Gromp and like do 2 buff, get red buff, and get like bot lane scuttle. Trying to see, you have to get that early scuttle, secure vision for like one of your laners, and you don't. It's kind of hard to gank early. Like, I probably focus mid lane just because Syndra follow up is so good.
Yeah.
That's probably the lane you're gonna have to focus on, and maybe even Irelia matchup. Just kind of go to the lane with like the CC. I like the lanes and like the early game for the ITZ because they drafted lanes with CC and good gankable lanes. It's something you really have to consider if you're going for a pick like Lee Sin.
Yeah.
So it looks like they kind of did their homework about it and they kind of prepared for this, and they might have the early game picks to make this work.
So without trying to be too BM, I have a question coming in here from Twitter from iGodlyPro saying, I am curious, what is the best thing to do as a jungler when all lanes are losing? Inori?
You just have to farm. Like, you can't really, if everything's losing and you're losing, that's just worse. Might as well just farm and try to make as much, just get as far as you can yourself and just try to play off their mistakes. Like, you just have to wait for opportunities when you're behind. and just look for the best time to go in.
The biggest thing is because you have losing lanes, if you try in 2v2, it's going to be really difficult to win those. So you need to either find an advantage over your jungler with pacing so that you get there earlier and get a gank off. And even then, it's potentially not going to work if there's a rumble that's going to 1v2 you. You do just want to try and out-farm your opponent, do the best you can, and hope that they don't lose harder in between so that you can be ahead of them.
I was just looking at Clearlove and the way he was clearing that camp. He started at the back of the camp. What's the reason for doing that?
I wasn't sure what skill he started first. Was it Q or E?
It was Q.
He's starting to end because you want to get like the Q proc on both of them. Graves jungle is kind of weird because you knock back every time you auto.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that your passive is like, because you have like the Hunters one, so you want to make sure you can proc it on all three, so you're getting all the healing from it. And if you hit your passive correctly, you can hit all three camps.
Yeah, all of the camp.
So Clearlove has started the red buff from what we can see. He's now completely skipped the Raptors and gone towards the Wolves, which means he's pathing towards the bottom side of the map and isn't doing a full clear. I think that may indicate that he's looking for an earlier Scuttle Crab control at the very least to stop Revolta from getting a gank off from the bottom half of the map. It might actually make it a little bit more predictable as to where Revolta's going to be and that he might be on the top side.
We saw the same clear earlier today when I was casting. It's a good clear. You get your red buff. You can contest ball lane, river. You want to make sure your ball lane Scuttle. That's like the most important one. You don't want your ball lane getting destroyed by one of those ganks. So it's a good thing to do. But the problem when you do a clear like this, your red buff's going to fall off first. So it's kind of like a risk you have to take.
And he's looking mid too for that gank, so set himself up nicely for it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, lining up the end of the line very nicely there as well, but also Revolta that he's just clearing out the ward, had the Raptors buff.
Yeah, I think that just denies the all-in effectively from Revolta being there, and Clearlove wasn't really looking for kill threat. It was more just putting damage on. The Raptors were gone. He'd placed all the vision down. There was nothing left for him on that side of the map, and instead of transitioning by being invisible and being out of the vision of the enemy, he just put some burst down to try and utilize the red buff as best he could, which, as you mentioned, Inori is already gone. So
Yeah, you definitely, that wasn't going to be anything, not even a flash. It was just kind of a way to pressure that lane. It's pretty obvious. Clearlove's a smart jungler. He considers what's going to happen. You kind of like have to picture like what is the enemy jungler's plan. And if he's a Lee Sin and they have a Syndra mid, you have to consider the Syndra Lee Sin gank. So he just chunks Syndra out to make that gank less effective. It's a smart thing to do. And Revolta's doing a top lane gank. It probably could work here. We have the Mega Gnar going too.
yeah, he'll have the stun available, but it also means that Mouse might be able to get out. In fact, Clearlove just seems to know this is happening.
But this is a good Q. I can see them.
Oh, he landed the Q.
Yeah, back off
kind of
now.
gank. Yeah, as soon as he sees the leads, the Graves does not want that anymore.
He landed his combo, but just didn't have the damage.
I guess the cool thing about that, though, is process of elimination from Clearlove effectively. He worked from the bottom side, took everything and placed vision. Means Revolta, who just cleared the ward near mid, was going to be on the top side of the map near his blue buff, and that actually paths him perfectly towards predicting where Revolta is going to be, so really well done from them.
Well, that was a 2v2 double kill out from the bot lane. Definitely not pulling any punches down there. I do have a question about the jungle pathing very quickly from Revolta. He started the blue buff and then stopped, went to the Grump, and then ganked top lane. Was that just because of the time investment and he wanted to instantly get a camp and then go for the gank?
He started Grump, I think, and then he went downwards to his red buff. He just wants to start that camp to... It's a good camp to start. It gives you best clear, like... It gives you more damage.
Like, yeah, just before he went towards the top lane gank, he wanted
just
to...
Oh,
happened,
sorry. Yeah. I'm not too sure. I guess... Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it means too much,
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest with you.
he's just farming it.
Just couldn't make his mind up.
Yeah. I think
Alright.
I'm really impressed by Clearlove's reading, though. Everything he's doing, he's calling it on Revolta's part. And you have to consider, like, he's doing it off blind. He only sees Revolta mid.
And so this is also something you may not know if you don't watch EDG, is Clearlove has a propensity. He's always ganking bottom lane. That's how the joke goes, that he's always ganking there. But this time around, from what we've seen highlighting Clearlove's pathing, is that he just got vision and ensured that they weren't getting ganked and seems to be confident that Deft and Mako can 2v2. It does happen. Clearlove's actually also counter-ganking on the top side of the map. That is somewhere that he never goes. So this is really rare, but also well done from Clearlove to recognize where Revolta's going to be, and that Revolta's playing the early pressure jungler to be able to counter him.
Yeah, definitely. He's reading the map really well. It's a strong attribute. It's something you really need as a jungler. Being able to read it separates like the really great ones from just your average junglers in LCS. That's something like when you play against Reignover, he's always like this too. Like he knows how to read the map. He knows where you're gonna be. So you kind of have to consider the odds. It's kind of like playing mind games at this point.
Yeah.
That's when you get to this level of jungling, you have to kind of play the mind game part. And
It just feels like they're one step ahead of you sometimes, and it can like, does it change your mentality?
sometimes
as
you
well?
just have to be like, do the dumb decision. Oh shit, should be a free kill.
Just instantly got a flash in. See you later.
Really good.
Yeah, that's actually huge. Revolta getting the 2 kills means that he actually has a big advantage. I don't know if it's best suited towards going on the Lee Sin, though, Honori.
I definitely agree. I think, and I mean, I definitely think it should be, personally, because this Ashe, she's going to scale hit her 6, call her CC, no problem. Braum is the Braum, so like getting this Lee Sin kills can let him snowball. Once he hits that level 6, that's his strong point, let him do this combo. He's going to have that warrior completed.
Yeah.
Just having any edge at all against like a Graves in this matchup is super important.
Gives him something to show Clearlove as well.
Yeah, I mean, Clearlove's actually doing this in an attempt to abate, so
I mean,
that's the bait.
yeah.
Macau with the kill. One's in here. Well, yeah,
got
walk the
baited
wrong.
pretty
Yeah,
hard.
everyone's dead. Good.
Yeah.
That feels bad. Well,
That's the thing.
they got Clearlove. Would have been better if Revolta had gotten the kill, but oh well. Oh, pretty good.
That's so good.
Yeah, the kills
It's 5 to
surprisingly.
5. Gold is actually ahead. That's actually really good for them.
Yeah, you can't complain. I mean, we saw what Clearlove was trying to do, right? He
Yeah.
actually gets himself a bunch of assists from this. He willingly throws himself at the opposition just to do damage. That flash, I'm going to say, was slightly too aggressive. I feel like he wanted to push them
I don't think he had
off
to
it.
suicide for it, but he definitely got them either way. He could have waited a bit and kind of like baited them to go on them, but
Yeah.
either way, he got them to die. But they lost first tower gold, which is crucial in this game.
And Revolta mechanics check is okay. He
Yeah.
did his ward jump.
Was
We know
that a
he can
crisp
do it.
insec?
Yeah, I'm looking for the R flashes
Yeah.
more, but whenever you do a war jump, that's just a basic Lisa mechanic. So he's doing well.
All right, not impressing Clearlove just yet. We'll keep track of that as the game continues. There'll be plenty more opportunities, I'm sure. But two one-on-one in this game, not bad. Warrior and Chant. We had a question, but it's gone. I'll ask that later.
Fair enough. I mean, so the same thing applies now. Clearlove's actually clearing the same side as Revolta, but Revolta has those 2 kills, has red buff, has his completed warriors, so he's actually at a point where you may see him start to be aggressive and actually look for invades and aggressive moves like this.
And this is a bad.
He's a bit of a tank. For that.
Yeah, I think he didn't understand. Like he underestimated how tanky he was. He could have waited on the Q or the Q cooldown and won for the combo and probably got the kill. But
Yeah, I agree. I think Clearlove being there obviously just scared him a little bit, so didn't happen the way he planned. The aggression is still being seen, as we
yeah,
said.
no, it's good he's going for deeper vision. He wants to secure this advantage top. You can see the CS difference top lane. As a jungler, you want to play off your winning lanes, especially in a matchup like Irelia versus Nora. It's a split pushing matchup. Whichever wins is going to be the dominant split pusher, which is super crucial.
So he's hiding in that little crevice just
Yeah,
in
to
case
avoid the
there's
ward.
a ward there. There isn't, but just in
Yeah.
case.
He's
Nice dodge.
Lands the Q though. He's looking for the execute.
Revolta
Whoa,
has
he's
no ulti
gonna have
there,
to trade.
remember?
Yeah. 1 for 1.
Yeah, works out better than it should have for EDG. I'd say Revolta wasting the ult before.
Yeah, that's if he had his ult down, that would have been clean. But 1 for 1 isn't as bad because you consider who's getting the farm right now and like the CS that's getting denied. Clearlove's coming to catch an action. You should probably leave Revolta.
Clearlove's
He has
respecting.
backup from Syndra. He's gonna secure this tower. This is really good. I'm actually impressed by ITZ's map movements. They're controlling objectives well. I think watching the other teams before, they didn't really play macro well. They got advantages early, but they just focused kills. Wow, you can see here they're definitely focused on objectives, which is the way to play this game.
I mean, in general, Brazil has been praised for their macro plays, so it's actually cool to see it actually on the world stage against EDG coming in here. You see some of the ward stats. I did find the Twitter question, though. This one comes in from the real Colade, who says, as a jungler, do you gank the winning lane or losing lane?
I think I said it earlier, you just gank the winning lane. You want to secure advantages and don't lose them. That's the most important part of jungling. When you get advantages, you keep them, you hold on to them, and you just make the guy who's losing lose even more.
Yeah.
And that's just how you slowly win the game. So if I'm winning like how they were winning top lane here, you just went top, ganked it, now you got a free tower.
Yeah.
And now you just want to set up vision for your Nard to split push and just control your top lane.
Right. So when that guy in solo queue is like yelling at you to come bot lane, you just ignore them and keep snowballing mid lane, top lane?
No, you just have like a 20-minute argument with them in game, and then just kind of like make sure he knows you're right. No, I'm kidding. You just kind of like mute them and then move on.
No, actually, I agree with you. I think you focus the winning lanes, even if they are complaining in solo queue, saying to come and help, because it's a better opportunity or better chance of you winning when you hit that winning lane harder.
Got it. So now Clearlove. Wow, that bottom side of the map just kind of lit up like a Christmas tree. Just gonna walk in here and take everything. With this knowledge, Revolta's also gonna go into the top side. Like, is this just the play now? Both junglers will just go on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, they're just kind of playing off their winning lanes. Like, they secure one side. You want to secure one side of the enemy jungler. I think how you play the game right now is pretty simple. Once you get advantages, once you push the tower down, you just extend your vision range. So he just extended his vision range. Nice, taking the enemy jungler camps. If you can dive top, that's the best case scenario, but a lot of times you won't be able to get the dive off, so you just push the wave in and reset. Now they're just getting to the free tower, which is huge for them. She's trying to ulti the wave, but it's not going to do shit.
That might.
Yeah, she's probably dead off that.
Yeah, got the stun as well, and styled on him.
I think that's actually really bad for them.
Yeah, because that means the turret goes with it, so, I mean,
Dragon is a dragon, but still, like, a tower is more snowbally right now.
Yeah, I agree. Good moves, Revolta. Once again, we said attacking the right lane. It's actually very clever stuff from this jungler.
He's definitely like living up to the hype he had. I'm actually pretty impressed with how he's playing this game. I seem really confident in his abilities. It's definitely how you want to play again, especially on the world stage.
Feels like he had this Lee Sin prepared earlier.
Did Yang just donate that camp as well to Revolta?
We'll see what he buys, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
like, I need this.
They know who the true carry is.
Yeah. And this is just well executed, so... I mean, this was lined up.
Well.
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip, boys.
Barely scrapes him, so Mouse, the second that he was stunned into the wall, had no choice.
Yeah, simple execute combo as well, Q ult.
Yep. And the best thing about the Lee Sin combo is if the first part of the Q hits and you kick them, the second follow-up part will do more damage. So the more often that you can do that, the better off you are.
Where does Revolta go now, though? Because top lane is very much pushed in from INTZ, so does he just keep following Nara around?
Probably not. There's only so little you can do. At this point, it's more of like you have to group around mid. Mid priority becomes a lot more important after that. I think you just kind of let the Nara split at this point and focus around mid tower. Eventually, Baron's going to come up, and then also there's a Dragon. Dragon's going to be first, so they're probably just going to farm a bit and focus around mid. And then eventually they're going to focus all their vision bot side for the Dragon.
Yeah, I guess the way I see this, though, is that Clearlove obviously being a farming jungler in comparison to Revolta, you'd expect that this lull waiting might be a good opportunity for them to catch up a little bit, at least in gold, and maybe hit some item spikes. So Clearlove with the rest of EDG would be quite content with that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they have a good scaling comp. I definitely think when they drafted this, they were considering how well they go into late game. I think they win late game. So I'm really worried about ITZ if they don't snowball enough, but I think they're playing it really well, and if they continue at this pace, they'll definitely be able to win again.
You can see the way that Lee Sin's posturing at the moment. It's ready for that bottom lane turret. Just in case someone rotates, Revolta can kick them into what is now a Mega Gnar. So again, playing to the strengths, but swapped on the other side of the map because the tower is far more accessible.
Yeah.
And Mouse just kind of watches. He knows Revolta's nearby.
Yeah, saw him on the ward, but he's still going to get tagged by the ultimate, and I feel like we just saw this on top side. Oh!
That's actually
and
really,
the boulder.
That's so good. I'm actually surprised this is happening. I don't know what EDG is doing. Like, this is... I'm pretty sure they saw him going there and they just sent people mid.
He definitely knew.
Yeah, they're not playing very well right now.
So I saw basically this game earlier where, oh, Tucker's, okay, just killing Mako. All right, mid lane getting pushed in as well. This game where Rox had like, you know, they were down pretty significant, but then they just like flipped the switch and just murdered Albus Nox. Like, do you feel like the same will happen here with EDG? It feels like this is going even worse for them, though.
No, I think this is a lot different than that game just because how ITZ is playing, they understand the game really well. Like, I don't know who's shot calling, but whoever's shot calling knows what to do. So you can definitely tell if they're macro plays. And here we can watch the replay. And there's really good patience by him. He waited and he got the RW. And Revolta just hit the combo.
We said before, you know, you can hit the Q afterwards. The second part will do more, but if you can kick them and then hit both aspects of the Q, it does even more. So Revolta playing that as best he could means that they actually get the kill onto Mouse, where he might have been able to live through his ultimate health regeneration.
So Pretty much Revolta is just camping the enemy top laner, hoping he rage quits.
And schooling them while he's doing
Yeah,
it.
making them look bad. This is what you do. You just win the lane you win. You just want to focus, secure the victory, make sure he can get what resources he needs. You know, he needs wards, you get him wards. You know, he needs pressure, you get him pressure. That's the job as a jungler. You find out who's winning, you give him the resources he needs, and then you just hope he carries. And as a split pusher, you know he can carry.
Following on from that point, we have a question on Twitter. Dipping Source says, how important is CS to a jungler? How much CS should you have? I guess in this scenario, you don't want to be taking any CS from Yang.
CS is very inconsistent based on, like, for junglers, because like, Raptor Camp gives you, like, 4, but the small ones are worth, like...
Right.
And then you do a Gromp, it gives you, like, 1, but it gives you as much as another camp. So I don't consider CS much. Like, I barely look at it. Actually, I love my own CS when I'm ahead of the enemy jungler. But, like, it doesn't matter as much. I look at experience as the way to describe, like, see the difference.
Over gold, okay.
So if I look at my experience and I look at his, I can tell right away, like, farm-wise, like, the differences. So you should look at experience and not CS for junglers.
Yeah, and there's camp advantages as well. So Nidalee, as an example, into most matchups should be 1 or 2 camps ahead. So you'd expect maybe a small amount of CS to be seen. But it's more about, I am Nidalee, so I'm clearing the camp quicker, which means I'll get to a gank or where I want to be sooner, so that I have more of an impact on the map. Whereas like the actual CS value grows because the gank you had was successful.
A lot of times they tax lanes too, which is it's not a good way to get advantages, but sometimes in the games your laners die and you can get CS that way, but your intention shouldn't be to tax lanes unless it's in solo queue where you can get every wave, because junglers can 1v5 in solo queue now.
Because you need the money more in
Yeah.
solo queue,
Yeah, I'm going to be really doing that too much in competitive play. Following Clearlove around now, I feel like he's on the back foot because I'm looking at the scoreline, but like, is he in reality on the back foot? Like, is he just trying to scale up and become a guy who could 1v5, as you guys put it earlier on?
He can't do much. Like, he's in a situation where Revolta did really well earlier game. Like, that's just unfortunate for him. He's doing the best he can. Like, he countered the early pressure well. And like, what he can do now is just farm and scale and be reliable to that mid and late game.
He does need to be doing damage because he has a Vladimir in the middle lane who's smashed out a Spirit Visage as the first item. So mid-game, I think he was going to be useful in that respect, and especially now because Mouse is 1 and 4. Like, the Graves does have to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
It wasn't the #1 priority, but it's starting to become that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Clearlove taking more and more into actually taxing here and there.
I mean, right now, 1 and 4, and like, what, we're almost 20 minutes and no Triforce with the boots as well. Like, Mouse is not in a good position.
No, and Mouse is against the biggest carry on ANTZ. I know it feels like Revolta in this game, but Yang's also putting in a lot of work.
Yeah.
He won't.
Lee syndrome.
Yeah, you jump in there and you get insta equilibrium striked and you're pretty screwed. But there is always temptation to just click that Q button again.
It's because there's the devil that sits on your shoulder that just says do it every single time the first one hits. You know it's a bad idea.
So, pretty much true to what you were saying before, Inori, now just grouping up with the team. Revolta's just hanging around. Like, is his play just now to just find picks? Like, has he gotten to the point where he's less of that carry going around the map and more about just trying to set up his team with those ult combos?
He got everything he needed from side lanes. All 2 towers are dead now. All you can do now is get the mid tower, and that's the last one outer remaining. To get outer mid, you have to group as a team. This is not objective a solo can get. So they're grouping up as a team to make picks in the jungle. That's the only way you can go power through mid. They don't have good poke, enough of a poke they can siege, so they're trying to look for picks beforehand so that they can get a free kill and dive mid for the tower. And right now they're just like playing it slow. They don't really have to force anything. They have a good lead. They can just slowly wait for EDG to make a mistake and they can capitalize on it.
There's 2 big points in a game, I find, for Lee Sins, and the only reason that's not as much existent in this one is simply because he's 3-1 and 3 and he's been doing well. But you've got the early game, you've got a lot of pressure that you can place down on the map, and you've got the late game where 1 kick can win you the entire game. Usually it hits about this point where Clearlove and the Graves would start to be potentially just doing more all around. He can clear faster, he can gank and be just as impactful, if not more. And Revolta should be dropping off because he hit big item breaking points and he's actually relatively strong. Revolta's still capable of being involved. But I just don't know if it's actually going to matter too much. And that's why I was worried that he was taking the early kills. It works out because he managed to get more kills everywhere throughout that. But Clearlove, you'd expect at this point, actually has a bigger impact.
Is there any way to stay, like, in particular, more relevant as the Lee Sin when you have gained a lot of kills at points in the game? I saw Revolta actually, like, when they were sieging a tower, go off to the side, look for, like, a Q into, like, a kick, for example. Is there things that you can do to try and accelerate it?
I think all his advantages he's got so far was based off the early game kills he got.
Yeah.
I think he's done a hell of a job right now, and he's got all the outers because of the early kills he's got. I think he's done enough to justify the kills as gold worth.
Yeah.
He's got enough tower gold for his team that's like 3K, 4K worth. I think that what he can do now would probably be just go through tanky and try to be you just have to be a tank at this
Damage
point.
sponge, yeah.
Yeah, and you just want to kind of look for the best kick you can. That's probably the main thing he needs to be able to do. Like, if he can't get a good kick off, then it's like, it's make it or break it. It would suck if he can't, too. I really want them to win, because this is looking really good for ITZ.
Yeah, Revolta's been looking actually quite classy
Yeah.
throughout this. Been doing really well against his idol.
Yeah, I
Clearlove.
mean, if he wants to show off, this is the game to do it, right? I think he got what he came for. He's fine.
I mean, the real problem, like, Revolta did a lot of work and INTZ did a lot of work early, but they are still against a really scary late game team, and
Yeah.
Clearlove's even included within that.
And a team who can execute it as well is is the other thing. Tidal Wave not connecting, but here comes Pawn, and he definitely landed a big ultimate. And now EDG have just kind of, EDG have arrived.
That's pretty nasty. Horn actually just smacked everybody. There's not much I could say about Clearlove at that point.
Pretty much.
So that was just the Vladimir.
Yeah, this ball lane's kind of holding back the Revolta carry because they're kind of mispositioning. They're making this game really hard. It's really unfortunate because they're playing so well. I just wish like the ball lane positioned a little better.
I know that people say Deft isn't as much an aggressive laner, and they think back to 2014, but he definitely showed that he can be.
Yeah.
Deft actually coming in
Wow.
here, and yeah, he's just dead to Yang. Yeah, Yang is still pretty big though. Something I kind of forgotten about, but whoa, okay, double kill.
That was clever from Revolta too with the kick.
Yeah.
Went back to Yang, saved the W.
Yeah, he played that really well. He's trying to make up for the two deaths earlier by taking out their ball in. The revenge kill there. They're maybe looking for a Baron here.
Yeah, man, like definitely the yen to his Yang this game. He just seems like so in sync with him.
Go big or go home, I guess.
The smite battle, potentially. I think they
Right,
should
boys.
actually just stun him as Syndra. Like, he
Oh,
shouldn't get
shit.
in.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yang needs to play really up right now. He has the kill pressure right now.
Well, Mouse just went in and suicided, and Pawn is 1v1ing Yang, but he's pretty close to Mega Knight. Yeah, he's just going to back away. And INTZ with the Baron, 24 minutes in. Pretty significant gold lead.
It's just a matter of are they going to throw this. Like, I'm worried they will because, like, what the balling keeps doing. But Revolta and Yankees making up for it. Like, something bad would happen on their team end, and then they just do something bad to the enemy bot lane. It's just hilarious to watch. I'm actually really excited how this is going to end.
Yeah, like usually in this situation when the team is so far down, you're like, okay, we just need to wait for this team to make a mistake, and that's what we're kind of like getting tense about. But do EDG, just because they are EDG, is there a way for them just to be proactive about trying to get back into the game, or are they just having to just wait for them to make a mistake?
So there is a thing that a lot of the LPL teams will do, and that's just pick a spot on the map and just like place a million pink wards. And usually you'd expect someone to like sit in the death bush, be aggressive. It's something that IMA will do, and you'll see that from them a few times if they lose games. EDG can just say go forwards. Like, it's really surprising, and when you're actually on the forward foot, you're winning the game, INTZ wouldn't expect them to come at them. They'd expect them to back away. But suddenly if they go forwards at you, Clearlove flashes and does a full combo with the Vladimir from Pawn. It can take you by surprise, and there's always that possibility. But at this stage, the gold lead's actually almost past the point of
no return. Like,
Yeah.
you cover up the team names, and then you look at this game objectively, and it's just like, INTZ are going to win this game. Like, they
Yeah.
have a massive gold lead, 6 towers to 1. Okay, 2. But 26 minutes in, like, had this been maybe later, I'd be like, okay, but this is very early into the game, and EDG are just getting wrecked.
I think at this point, it's like, if they can break the base, this is huge for them. This is like the hardest part, especially against the EGG. Like, it's just like, I feel like they're reliving like last year's Worlds right now. Like, I kind of want to see EGG go off, but they're playing really sloppy, and it's kind of like disappointing to see.
Okay, so there's two things. How much of this is EDG, and how much of this is Revolta?
I don't want to discredit ITZ
played
because they're
well.
playing really well. Like I'm like complimenting them well. I see how they play as a team, and it's like my only bad thing to say is like they're balling. They're really like holding them back wise,
Yeah.
and we have to engage.
That's actually pretty big.
Like
You watch
Balling's-
Revolta wants
yeah.
to peel, but he's not actually there to do so.
It's like the balling keeps getting caught. It's
Yeah.
just repeated again.
Yang has to just run away. Revolta, I think, still has kick.
Good
Oh,
kick.
but yeah, 4 people. That just saved Yang's life as well.
Blood brothers right there.
Yeah.
They ride
Yeah.
together. They die together.
Well, pretty much what
Bot
you just
lane
said.
for life.
Yeah, now
Bot
they're going
lane.
to push bot.
We are the bot lane now.
See, but like they keep getting caught. Like I'm really like, I'm so sad because like they're doing so well. Like Revolta, Yang, and then like the balling is just mispositioning, getting engaged on. It's just if they
Yeah.
wait a bit longer, let the Gnar get the split pressure. Like, what is the 1-5 Aurelia like 90 CS down gonna do to this Gnar? It's just unfortunate.
So the play from the bot lane is literally just be further back because the guys who are dealing the
Oh,
damage
yeah.
and yeah, it's just not get caught.
Especially if your flash is not even up. Like the young Yang is the actually.
That was a
gonna do it?
1-on-2 and gets the kill. He's gonna die to pawn, but
There's a GA, so it'll take a little while.
in a minute.
It's okay though.
So the thing is, like, I understand that it was a 1-on-2 that's really well played by Yang, like, credit to him. He just lost a Guardian Angel, and he's more valuable than Mouse is. Mouse
Yeah.
will also be up sooner because he's so far behind, he's 2 levels down. That's a mistake, and this gives an opportunity.
I'm not too sure what happened there. If he was got caught out or he chose to fight. If he chose to fight, definitely that was
Here we go,
really
though.
bad.
What are the chances of INTZ winning this?
I mean,
Or killing him,
gold-wise,
rather.
this is a huge gold lead. Like, I think you can give it to like a not so great team, and they can also pull this off. Like, I don't think they're not that great. I think Revolta and Yang so far have shown they're really top tier players right now, and I think they can definitely close this out if their bot lane stops mispositioning and actually plays with the team and not get
Yeah.
caught.
No, I feel that.
I think you said it best when you called them the Blood Brothers as well,
Yeah.
because Revolta made a conscious decision that Yang is the person he wants to get ahead. So
Mm-hmm.
recognizing their strengths, playing to their strengths, it's trademark and something that they should do. But because they did it so well, they found themselves in this position.
Yeah, they had definitely good synergy. They knew each other's minds really well. It's been working out really well for them.
This is also the Revolta versus Clearlove stream, but we haven't just like seen Clearlove do anything. I don't think he's been able to for the last like 15, 20 minutes. Has his like role in this game changed at all, or is he just in the same position where he just has to farm and hope for the best?
I think he had to take like a backseat kind of role after like the early game pressure went off. Like he didn't get an early game advantage. He got behind early game, so he had to take the farm route. And there wasn't much for him to do. I think he played early game fine. I think he made like a few errors, but like they weren't that big. I think he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But Revolta just did too much. And this is just his team playing not so great. And Clearlove can't really do much as Graves. You're not like that Elise who can CC and gank lanes. You're just a Graves who kind of farms and scales really well.
Leaving that to Deft as well. That means they want to sit back or they want to utilize their poke, and that's Clearlove's role in this as well, right? He's now an AD carry. He now needs to be a big part of the damage dealing, whilst Pawn's being a tank. And Mouse is the other frontline. So because the team composition has enough frontline, Clearlove's able to afford to do things like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely scared for the late game. When I'm looking at it right now, the items are starting to get really scary for EDG. Like, Ezreal's 3 points in items, like, he has enough to shred anyone, and Vlad is like a monster, so they really need to do something really crazy. Like, this Ocean Drake is actually pretty important for them, because you don't want Ezreal to get like that much more like sustain and poke. So if they get this Ocean Drake and secure the next Baron and close out, that's probably the best route to win.
I think it's safe to say the way that INTZ win their fight, if they do get the next one, is by killing Deft near immediately. He does not have his flash, so fighting for the Drake could work. And it just comes down to how they engage. If Mikau gets an arrow and Revolta follows it up with the kick, Deft might die.
I think if I'm an EGG, I wouldn't risk going into like contesting River Vision right now. I'd probably give away the Dragon and secure Baron Vision.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you'd prioritize Baron, I would too.
Because like, it's an Ocean, you know you don't really need it to win. They're just scaling to late game, and they know if they go for Dragon, they can just get Baron Vision, which they were struggling with for a while, so now they can push up and get like the River Vision. But they're kind of late on it, so ITZ might get the vision secured and keep all their pinks, which is actually really important because this is a big part of ITZ to win.
Weird that he queued that. I was expecting him to follow it for no particular reason.
Yeah.
I think he was scared that they might be jumping over the wall to do it, so he's making sure they weren't like sneaking in.
I have a question, Inori. He sticks with the warding totem Revolta on Lee Sin, which makes sense to me. You want more wards to have that as a utility factor, but it means the team only has one sweeper.
It's no big deal. I personally like that too, because the problem with the green one is you literally only get 2 and then you have to back. And like junglers are on the map for so long, you don't have that the luxury to just back and refill your wards, so you have to be on the map pressuring so much. So I know like this is a good move by him. It's recharges, so like the longer you're on the map, you'll have it back up. I think he should switch eventually to red, but I think it's okay to do this. Like I would have preferred if mid lane won red trinket. I still think red sweepers are really important to really sweep all red. But if you look at their pink ward coverage, like they did a really good job with their pink, so they're kind of making up for the lack of the red sweeper.
So right now it just feels like it's just the game is around Baron, like, and it's just gonna revolve around that. We do have a question from Twitter. How do I position as mid-game Lee, flank to kick into team or group, and find the kick that way? We kind of covered that. So changing the question more to like, what tools do you have available to you as a later game Lee Sin? Like, are you looking for those wards? Are you looking to jump in with like kick flash, for example?
Oh yeah, you just go for the kick flash. You kind of want to go for flank angles, which is, you want to be unpredictable. Lee Sin's really annoying after a kick. He still sticks on you. Like you just want to stick on like their carry and force them to attack you. Try to be as annoying as possible and hope your team can kill their carries or your AD to kill their front line before they kill you.
Yeah. Specifically for mid game, it's really hard to position well because the flank is super important if you're going to engage, but it comes down to your team composition. So when you look at INTZ's team composition with the Lee Sin, it's not as important that he is in the front line when he's got Yang, who's actually quite large, already being able to be a super tank with a Guardian Angel. He can sit back and peel for the carries, which means his positioning is a little bit less aggressive.
Oh. Let's see some Revolta.
Oh, there it is. Kicked into the team, takes down Clearlove. Macau jumping over the wall, and the bot line is actually surviving for a long time. Macau finally dies. Shut down, 1-3.
They should just go for Baron, secure this Baron. Look at the waves. Right now, they're probably calling what waves we should do, like how are we doing. EGG is probably saying like, fuck, can we steal excuse me, can we steal this? Like, what can we do? They really need to steal this Baron. It's super important for them. And they're not going to do it. Ezreal ulti's down. They're just going to catch the sideways. This is so big for ITZ. They can really push this to end the game.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Inori, EDG are probably saying that right now. I mean, they're in a horrible position. Losing that second Baron as well to INTZ. This is so big. I hope we get a replay because I really want to see that interaction between Revolta and Clearlove again. But that just seemed like it was really well played from across the board. Do you also feel like the bot lane was also playing better? It seemed like they were positioning better than we've seen.
It was better enough to where it's like they instantly killed the AD, so it wasn't hard to like kind of like survive that fight. I saw the Ashe kind of get jumped on. He literally flashed over the wall towards the enemy other team, and then like Revolta like shielded him last second. He lived a little bit. I think they definitely played better too. It's easier when you're the ones engaging on them instead of the other way around, because they had like good chances to just position at the back. And I think let's just compliment Revolta. Like that kick was beautiful. I think he waited really well on it, and he kicked it really nicely. And you know, this guy's playing a world stage. It's probably his first time, and like he's playing this well against like one of the top contenders for the world title. And this guy's just incredible right now.
Yeah, we highlighted it before, but Clearlove being his idol is a pretty big deal. You'd expect nerves, but he's not looking like he has any
He's just
at
gone the
all.
opposite way,
Yeah. In fact, it looks like motivation for him. I agree, the flash kick was really strong. He has the team composition that we mentioned before where he doesn't need to do the engaging. The Ashe Arrow did it for him. And it burnt a lot of stuff, which means there was nothing to impede him from using that flash kick. And absolutely smacked Clearlove.
I definitely like the draft they did here. Just to go back on it, I think the Ashe helped them a lot with mid-game.
Oh, okay, we've got the replay. This is a little late, but you can see how long he waited.
That's really nice.
Oh, and he flashed into it. He was just barely over Revolta.
Yeah, it's straight into a Syndra ulti.
Man.
He just flashed over the wall. Isn't much you can do as Ash though against the Vladimir. Once he just flashes on you, you have to kind of like say, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
I have to accept this fate. Yeah, I hope someone's turned that into a gift because that was amazing. But how much of that was also Clearlove like dashing backwards but still into the arrow's flight path? Was it actually, it seemed to me there was a way for him to go left or right.
Oh no, he definitely misplayed it. He should have dashed away. And they got a tower. This is really good for them. I like them grouping like S5. They had the option of Gnar to split, but they already know they're not going to get that without the Gnar, so they just send him in. They kind of reset by. I'd prefer if they could get an inhib here just to accelerate this game. Let them get the Elder and try to really push it, but Elder's up in 19. They don't want to get low for it and throw the game, so they're just going to wait for the Elder, secure the vision beforehand, so EGG has to walk in blind.
This is everything I wanted from this game. INTZ 10k ahead over EDG. 3 dragons. Elder's going to be up in a couple seconds. Do EDG like try and contest here? Does Clearlove look for the miracle steal, or do they just wait in their base and just wait for INTZ to come to them?
So there isn't much Baron buff left on the side of INTZ. It will expire when they get the Elder Drake around that timing, if they go for it. So they can get it. They can try and brute force the enemy base. Of course, 2 open inhibitors, you would expect they can do it.
I think you need to contest, but it looks like they're too scared to walk in blind. After losing fights, you get demoralized a lot. You don't know if you're going to win the next fight.
Yeah.
The next fight is the game changer. So that was
Blocked
close.
out by Duckster, yeah.
But yeah, this is good for them. But the problem with Elder is such a short duration. It's not good for sieging. It's good for diving. It's good for poking if you have poke, but their poke is really unreliant. So they really need to go for an inhib here with this Elder, because
Hit the arrow, right?
yeah, they need to hit something because they're almost hitting full build. And problem with this is like your gold lead is irrelevant once they're reaching gold full builds.
Yeah.
So this is important for them to really get an inhib here. They have 2 opens, so this is really good. If they can really like get 1 pick off here, they can go pushing at both inhibs.
Definitely. Do not want to be drawn into that situation where everyone's full build and it becomes a coin flip.
Yeah, it's just, it makes all that Revolta action early game so unreliable. Like, it doesn't help at all anymore. It's like everyone's same items. It's all skill after that point.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, right now, Revolta's reaping the rewards of his strong early game where the team's able to come around him. He gets a flash kick, they kill somebody immediately with Tockers, and small things like that are starting to cascade really well for this Brazilian side off the back of, honestly, a surprisingly impressive performance.
I think I want to touch on like Tuckers. We didn't say much about him, but he's been playing such a clean game too. We've been talking about the Revolta Yang, but he's also been picking up the slack too. He's been doing a lot of work. The 3 of them together have been carrying this game so hard. It's just incredible to see. And I really hope they can close this game out because they really deserve this win.
Well, they got the first inhib, so
Yeah, this one should definitely
Step
fall.
1.
It's so hard to like go into like 3 orbs, and then after she throws the 3 orbs,
Yeah.
she sends them out to stun you. It's like, how do you deal with that? Like, I'm like, they're playing it really safe, but once she gets her orbs up and she can like, push up and throw them,
Yeah.
it's just so hard to deal with.
I think that was their last wave before
yeah.
the Elder ran out, so they were trying to be a little bit picky
Yeah.
with it, and Yang not having Mega was, I guess, a factor for them.
I mean, Mega's a big thing they play off, and obviously EGG's smart. They'll like wait for Mega to run off. I think now it's just reset and wait for the next Baron. It's 120. It's looking really good for them. I don't think they lose next fight if they played right. They have ball lane advantage, like send Gnar bot. You can even maybe Gnar should definitely go bot, pressure that Irelia. He has a good advantage, and just wait for that Mega Gnar and look for a fight if they come for Baron.
if INTZ were to lose the next fight, what would the reason be? Would it be Pawn just getting in there, landing the 5-man ults and doing Vladimir things?
Pawn should never land a 5-man ult. It would be the mistakes of their ball lane repeated again. If they were to lose, it's because the ball lane mispositioned really bad. They weren't able to do enough damage. Even if the ball lane mispositions, I still think the 3 of them are gonna carry.
He's in trouble, he's dead.
Yeah, he's not playing. I think
He just altered the wave.
Man.
Pretty sure Yang could have just right-clicked him there and he would have just been dead. There's like no escaping. The Gnar was frozen valid.
That is potentially the game. That's the
Yeah.
scariest thing from that. So
Yeah.
Clearlove,
I still think you just push out mid and go rotate the Baron. Secured. There's no jungle smite. I would just take this Baron here.
Clearlove is not smiling.
I don't think they should get like 2 actually
Inhib
and like
then
go for
Baron?
the. Yeah, they could go for the hit, but based off the death timers, yeah, they could do it actually. They're 30 seconds.
As the arrow lands onto Deft as well. Ultimate comes across and Revolta is just all over them. He can't get away. Oh, the kick flash. What is happening? Pawn as well gets melted. This is it. Like, INTZ are beating EDG, and this is just the game.
That is
Revolta
something that is ridiculous, right? It is the Revolta show, and I guess between the Idol in Clearlove and the Rookie in Revolta.
Oh my god, we have just witnessed history.
It hurts my soul, Pulse.
This was magical. INTZ taking the game over EDG. Absolutely incredible. Oh man, it's fantastic just to see them here on the camera.
I love seeing how happy them. This is like the feeling I had when we won against TSM.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable, the hype, the feelings of like beating a team like this. Knowing that Jir can actually make it out of groups is huge. Being like the first wild card team to win maybe like more than like one game would be impressive.
I mean, that was a super important win as well, like a win that many people, pretty much everyone, thought they would ever
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a best-of-1 series, but technically the first series lost for EDG as well.
I mean, if it's 99% to 1, there's still a chance. They were the 1%.
Good night, Pick'ems.
Yeah, rest in peace, boys. Absolutely incredible. And just talking about mentality as well, Nori, you were saying about picking that win off TSM. What does that do to you as a team, like going into your future matches? Does that change the way? Yeah.
It gives you the confidence. I think when we were going into our season, we were so unmotivated, like, or not motivated. We had such low morale, but winning a game like that really boosts the morale, makes everyone happier. I know going back to gaming house, we're all more cheerful. We're all like nicer to each other in general because that's such a nice thing to do. To win like that, it's incredible. I'm happy for them. Revolta, he deserves a raise for that performance.
Yeah.
It was such a good play by him. All the flash kicks. He's such a good jungler. I'm impressed by his jungling.
Rusty, as our China representative, how does that make you feel?
It really hurts. There's not much more I could say. Clearlove, it is kind of bittersweet that Revolta played so well, and I agree. He probably just had the game of his career against his idol, but Clearlove also underperforming on the opposite side means that it contrasts really well. I mean, he had an early game, but there was nothing in between, and there was also nothing that he could do. So, again, a lot of credit to Revolta. Yes, it sucks for me that the LPL team lost, and I can only really sing praises of the Brazilians' performance.
So where do you think the specific misplays came from? Because we were talking a lot about early game where Revolta was just picking up advantages, and we were saying there's not a lot that Clearlove can really do like mid game. What do you think that Clearlove could have done in like instead of what he did early game?
I think what he did early game was tracking Revolta, which is fair, right? It was an early pressure jungler, and I'm sure it would make sense, right? Against Elise in his Graves, you want to just watch him and stop him from getting the snowball kills. What Clearlove usually does, though, is gank bottom. He always tries to get deft and get that lane ahead because it's their big win condition. This is the first time in what feels like forever that I've seen him in top lane. It's unheard of, and it actually comes to hurt them.
Well, that was amazing. I'm almost speechless coming up at the back of that game, but we are going to put curtains down on this one for now. So coming up next on the stream, we'll shine a spotlight on Samsung Galaxy's crown in the mid lane. But for now, we are going to toss it over to Dash and the crew at the analyst desk, who are continuing their coverage and breakdown of that huge upset from INTZ.
So we came into this game thinking like everybody thought that we would be the team that would go like 0-6 in this tournament. So we came with no pressure, and we knew that they didn't have. If they didn't look to CBLOL matches, they didn't see the real INTZ, because in the WCQ we played like really badly. So
on purpose, sandbagging to.
yeah, so I feel like really great.
Obviously very great. You were talking so much about the team you look up to in EDG and the player you look up to in Clearlove. So what made you be able to maybe out-jungle him here and your entire team take this game home?
Well, I think EDG is one of the teams that we look at the most. We love China as a region, so we look it up at EDG, and we kind of fit their style, I guess, and we just play like them. I don't know. So playing against them is like an honor, and we felt that we could do it.
You guys absolutely did it. We talked about it a lot before. You guys here love you. The history of the CBLOL teams at Worlds, obviously that one win from Kaboom, then the 2 wins from Pain Gaming. But I feel like this could be the start of something a lot bigger. You took down the #1 seed from EDG. You have something to prove. How far can INTZ go at Worlds here?
Well, hopefully our goal coming into this tournament is to get out of groups. This is something that nobody did yet. So that's what we want. I think winning the tournament is something like super big, and I think we cannot achieve yet. But just coming into the tournament and getting experience just makes Brazil better as a region and make them proud.
It definitely does. I know that it must mean so much for the Brazilian fans watching right here and at home. Is there anything you want to say to them?
I just want to say thanks, everybody, even who is not Brazilian. Like, having you cheering for us is great. So thank you very much.
Do you want to say something in Portuguese as well?
Eu queria agradecer a todos os fãs do Brasil. Muito obrigado por todo o apoio que vocês deram pra gente. Espero que a gente faça um torneio muito bom para agradar vocês.
Well, Revolta for me as well. Obrigado and congratulations. Fantastic stuff, Revolta and INTZ taking down EDG. Analyst Desk, take it away.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Brazilian fans across the world will be very proud to say that their team on day one of the tournament took down the #1 seed from the LPL, but also the favorites to get out of their group easily. That's what people are coming in and saying, and that is now no longer the case.
And regardless of what happened in the game, just what this must mean for them. They're like 5 Brazilians, you know, Brazil as a region has a history of just importing a lot of players, trying, you know, to get those imports to work, but no, they have like regional pride. They play with 5 Brazilians in their roster. They tried every single time to get through that wild card tournament. Every single time they fail for different reasons, but now they made it in, and in their first game, they smash EDG. This is just fantastic.
And let's make no bones about it. There's been some upsets on the world stage. You think back to Katowice last year and the GE Tigers losing to the 11th ranked LPL team. This is the top ranked LPL team losing a series. Okay, a best of 1, but a series against this team right here.
All right, against INTZ. Yeah, well, let's dive into then how this happened. And Crumbs, we're going to start in Champions Select. I know you have some thoughts on EDG's pick ban phase.
Well, right from the start, at least for INTZ, they went with the Syndra first pick, which when you combine Syndra with Lee Sin, it's such a powerful combination. Automatically, you have pressure mid lane. Any single roam that you move around, you have priority, you have pressure, you have kill opportunities everywhere, and it's very difficult for EDG to do anything about it. But they go with the weirdest things that okay, I have no idea why they do this. Why would you rely on your bot lane to carry the entirety of your split, and then you decide, let's put our weakest member into a carry position and give him the worst jungler to help him out into Graves? Graves, Irelia, I'm baffled.
All right, well, then you just talked about it. You hit the matchup that I want to take a look at and put a spotlight on that top lane. Mouse on the Irelia, dying 4 times very early on into the game, having no handle on this lane, and Yang really just putting on a clinic.
Yeah, and as we see the montage right here of some of the kills that happen, we need to put this into context for fans that may not be familiar with EDG. They as a team path heavily around bot lane with Clearlove. He will start top side path, bot side, just as he did this game, but he left his top laner exposed, and Yang and Revolta did such a great job like targeting that weakness, because if you look at draft 2, with an early game jungler like Lee Sin, the Gnar Irelia matchup being inherently very swingy, the attention early top snowballed. Props to their bot lane from INTZ. To play 2v2 with no jungle influence versus Ezreal plus Nami, and survive.
And dying, and then still winning that lane after that huge wave
against
crash.
Deft and Mako, that is like honestly impressive, because as much as we saw kills in the top sides, the lack of kills in the bot side is something that we should praise as well. INTZ here performed as a team, and it definitely showed in their macro game too. Very stellar, very unexpected in my opinion.
And Papa Smithy, let's now take a moment to contrast this game with the earlier game between Rocks Tigers and Albus Nox Luna. At 15 minutes in that game, Rocks Tigers led by 2.8k gold. In this game, INTZ up 3.5k against EDG. That's our 2 tournament favorites there against wildcard teams, and INTZ is showing up big today.
And that game was all about Rocks being just over-aggressive, right? They made these huge moves they didn't necessarily need to. They didn't, you know, dot their I's and cross the T's. This was just an outplay by INTZ. They played methodically, they played their style. They're known as the macro team, but the macro team versus the top seed from the LPL, you think, well, does it really matter, right? But they showed that it did, and Yang up top especially. It was a mismatch, and Mouse, he's middle of the road in the LPL, but LPL isn't known for good top laners. Looper is probably pretty peerless right at the top of that list, and Yang just kind of put him in the dumpster.
All right, well, this is going to take us to our final replay here. 34 minutes into the game, 3-0 for INTZ, plus a Baron, putting the nail in the coffin.
Just flash the arrow. Really good block here. The Braum shield negating Nami ulti. That buys enough space and time for the Lee Sin, and another beautiful kick flash there.
It's a nice little double kick, and I love this flash over the wall right here. That's going to allow Ashe to deal so much more damage than she normally would have, and I think that was really the highlight for that fight for me, being able to put yourself in a position that is still dealing damage and that your team is nearby so that if you get killed, you can still contribute to the fight.
All right, but let's take a look at those damage graphs there and see that Gnar Yang just being an absolute monster. Goes with that double offensive item with the Frozen Mallet and the Black Cleaver, and just being a split push presence throughout the game.
It was the item timings as well. He had a Black Cleaver against, I believe, a Stinger and part of the rest of Trinity Force. It was 20 minutes before that Trinity Force was completed. There's no way back in for Mousen, no way back in for EDG.
So no surprise then that Yang picks up player of the game here, although we do have to give a nod to Revolta for his play. We saw the Lee Sin mechanics coming out time and time again, but Yang there against Mouse, it was the proper choice, putting one of your strongest players against one of EDG's weakest player and exploiting that difference.
Yeah, we're already discovering in this tournament how important like top jungle synergy can be, because it can break open matchups. Like these bot lanes are getting better at losing gracefully, but top lane 2v1, like the best players in the world can get killed 2v1, and the not so best players in the world will get killed 4 or 5 times in a row.
All right, so now let's take a deep breath, because EDG lost game 1, but there's still 5 more games in the group stages. So I would now turn to you guys and say, do we still have faith that this EDG team can turn things around in the group stage and strike back later on down the road?
I think faith is a dangerous word. Confidence, perhaps? Maybe. They definitely have the track record. Remember, they came in after an undefeated season. Best of 1, it's a very different thing, but the jungle pull, I think, was the big story there. The Graves just meant that Clearlove couldn't make the plays, but his top laner was too far behind. Vladimir's not great to gank for, and Clearlove was a non-factor this game.
I just like how it changes the story of the group, where we used to have EDG clear favorite, you know, INTZ going for scraps here at the bottom. No. After seeing H2K versus AHQ, anything is possible.
Flipped on its head now.
Especially with Yang and Revolta.
All right, well, there's more League of Legends left to play today, and so stick around, because when we return, Samsung Galaxy faces off against Splice. See you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in Game 4 of the 2016 World Championship. Down to 50, summon a heal, flash your way, exhaust, under the tower, first blood to death. He gets out of tower range, and Jockster flashes from tower, eat the chair.
Tô batendo na Nami.
Boa. Ele quer descer o Vlad.
Leva a torre.
Oh, he got him. Gotta find him. The stun, the wall, the pin. Mouse gets knocked backwards. Revolta plays pinball. Maiko looks for Diff, kicks Diff backwards, and Yang gets the red buff. Turns his attention to Maiko. Maiko's on 200 HP. Wallop. Oh, no!
Nice.
Estamos levaram?
Irelia. Cadê o Vlad? Eu tenho a Valcha nesse Vlad. Vai, Irelia. Vlad.
Oh, Ashero finds him! Left is down! Revolta's looking for more! Doesn't use the Dragon Blade! Does this time round! Def gets caught! Brazil scored the biggest goal of the tournament so far! They're taking down the LPL, and Brazil has done it!